Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're ready to begin. Alright. So, ladies and gentlemen, just one moment please, because the final thing that I need to do is pull up. How is the transition instant? Alright. There we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's go. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I need to, is this all right? The volume, is this all right? Because you'll see my head at the bottom of your screen for the moment, because the camera is angled upwards. So I need to put the gain down. Gain is down to 5 decibels. Alright, gain down to 5 decibels, that's more like it. So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, welcome to the FYP presentation draft. So what you see in the top right-hand corner, actually, my FYP slides. So you can see that the first slide is what do mud crabs and oh bruh. Alright, stream's dead. Stream's alive, stream's dead. I'm so sick of this. God help me, please. Alright, so ladies and yeah, you can see the buffering and it's dead. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the easiest. This is not the easiest thing to do, to be honest. Because the thing is, you know what? I'm this close to just absolutely giving up. If you can even hear the song, it's just not working. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Alright, so we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is not very good quality, I'll have to admit. Unimas internet never fails to astound me at how bad it can get. Actually, to be fair, this is DG. I did pay good money for this. And I can't believe it. What's going on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It just looks horrible. Everything, ladies and gentlemen, everything is just depressingly slow here. I can't even get this to work. Alright. So in case you just joined us, there is no internet, right? There is no internet right here in campus. You will see a lot of buffering. I don't know where it's gone wrong. I'm using my own data. I still have more than enough data source. And my phone is fully operational. I don't understand why it has to be like this, ladies and gentlemen. So, never mind. We're back. So, first of all, when you're doing a speech, you actually need to make sure that you know more or less where the audience is. So in my case, my audience will be you, dear viewers, watching me from this, let's just say not so flattering angle. Alright, bless you. I'm not sure if you heard that on the mic, but still. Alright, everything seems to be green now. However, YouTube is buffering, so I do not understand that. You may have realized that my camera has just died because Unimas internet does not allow for cameras like that. So this is going to be a replacement for that. As you can see, this is my potato camera. This is going to look pretty ugly compared to the other setup that I have, which is this phone that you see here. So give me a moment. Yes, you can tell by the small camera view, I am struggling. It is any live streamer here in Unimas, I have no idea how you survive. Especially with this kind of slow internet. I've already bought the DG internet. Come on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again with the stream. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will be practicing our FYP presentation. So, I have my slides here. What do mud crabs and oyster mushrooms have in common? Bear in mind, this right now is draft. This draft is very sketchy, and it has a few issues that I know about. Mainly because it has to do with my title right here. My title is, no thank you, I just want to present, thank you very much. Type standard present, yes. Because I will not have the animations and what have you. But this is the main issue here. Physical, chemical, and biological properties of chitosan extracted from mud crab shells. Before I begin, I will start by saying the things that I still need to correct in these slides that you see. Is this side all right? Because my video is not mirrored. All right. So with the slides that you see here, there are a few issues. First of all, mud crab shells, because my FYP is actually trying to compare mud crab shells, Cilia olivacea, and fungi. So think about this. I forgot to get my topic changed. Small mistake, not a big deal, but might come back and bite me in the future. But it's not something I can actually afford to worry about because the time for editing the list thingy has closed. I didn't actually realize that this was going to be an issue because it was an add-on. Fungi was an add-on. So, yeah. The next thing is, alright. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so you have the mirrored version of me. There you go. So this is my left hand now, and this is my right hand now. I'm mirrored, ladies and gentlemen. This is my right, and this is my left. So, second issue is the length, because I've been recording this. It's bear in mind that there will be no illustrations with my ding dong slides. There will be no illustrations. I will convert it straight into a PowerPoint that has like one, two, how do you say? It just goes straight, just fade transition. We're not going to mess around with these fancy transitions because I don't want to waste any time on them. It's not recommended for a formal presentation like this. You don't want these fancy transitions when you make a presentation. So, what is Kaito-san? I do also need to fix the references. There are no references in these slides because I forgot. I am a forgetful man. So yes, I try my best. And God help me, I try my best. But I do forget things sometimes. So you can see that most of the slides, they have no reference apart from the second half because I forgot the first half, but I remember the second half. And then you will also realize that in my slides, there is no separation of, like, for example, problem statement, introduction, literature review, no such thing. It depends on your lecturer because I've asked around with my friends. It's different. Some lecturers, they want you to go the complex route. They want you to sort of go and, what do you call them? Flow charts, mind maps, in order to show the working so that the materials and methods, the literature review, all these things will be in nice little pictographs. I am not doing that here, ladies and gentlemen, because the lecturer that I asked in particular just said that keep things simple, and the more you say, the more likely you're going to get yourself into trouble. So just make things as simple as possible. That's the philosophy here. So now we actually have like a title of lots of questions. Number one, what is Kaito-san? And then the next slide, I don't like these animations. They will go in the final version. Why study Kaito-san? And then you do notice the photos actually have no bearing on the object itself, on the topic itself. So I'm not actually sure whether I should go and revise this or not. I will go and consult with my lecturer in a moment after I'm done, I guess. So apart from the why study Kaito-san thing, we're also... Oh, hello, Nadia. Hello there. Welcome to the stream. So, I hope to make sure that this stream doesn't crash and we'll be able to go at least one presentation, please, just one presentation. It's 7:30 already. I have a meeting at 8. So back to the slides. The photo that you see here is just the brain. It's a big brain meme. I'm not sure how familiar the lecturers are going to be with this big brain meme. And I'm not sure whether they are going to criticize me for putting memes in what is supposed to be a serious presentation. So, that is going to be another issue. All right. Give me a moment. So why mud crabs and oyster mushrooms? That is the same photo as the introduction. This is just another stock photo that I got from I don't know where. And then, yeah, that's it. Here is a Minecraft furnace for you to indicate an actual furnace. And I will have to add some details into the... I will have to add some details into the slides themselves. Always stay hydrated. I have to add some details into the slides. It's not finished yet, by no means, but this is roughly what I'm going to run with. I'm just going to tell you the issues that I have right now. Yes, thank you so much. Are there any questions? So we're going to go back to the start, and then we'll start with the dry run of what I have. So first of all, general tips for presenting. Before you get into a presentation, pray, may God help us all, and also take a deep breath, hold it for a few seconds, release it. Do this again and again, because not only does it help you to relax, it also helps you to start filling your lungs. Because I'm not sure whether we will be given microphones. On the off chance that we are not given microphones, you have to start to prep your stomach to give more air through your lungs, if you know how that works. If you've ever done, like, you know, those YouTube singing lessons where they tell you to support with the diaphragm, that kind of thing, that's what you have to aim for if they don't give us a mic. I'm already trying to do that now. It's helpful even if you have a mic. And then the second thing to do is you roll your shoulders and then give your neck a nice little twist. Shake it out a little bit. And I'm not wearing a belt, so you might want to hold on to your trousers. This is to help you get yourself physically ready before you start doing a presentation. Because you don't want to be standing all stiff like this. I better show you the rest of my torso as well. Because you don't want to be standing all stiff like this for the whole presentation. You want to be able to freely move around. You want to be able to point at the slides, which in this case is on my left. This is going to be a bit of a challenge because I'm right-handed. And normally I try to stand to the right of the slides. But space does not permit today because this is a cupboard. I don't want to, you know, bonk into the cupboard. So, YouTube did not lie. My stream actually died. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, expect internet issues. I do not understand why. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I was streaming happily, and then the Fire Nation attacked. Yeah. It's not good, is it? I'm just trying to stream. Okay, so we're all back to green again. Hopefully this will reach you in clarity, because I am starting to get disappointed, ladies and gentlemen. All I want is just to do an FYP, finish before 8. I thought I wanted to go fast, but no, that was all a lie. So, ladies and gentlemen, is the internet, but it's okay now. All right, hello, Adeline. Yes, it is a very bad internet here. I can't even use the Unimas Wi-Fi to stream. This is my own mobile data. Is not going well, ladies and gentlemen. So, last thing to note is mic placement. Because when you're trying to talk, generally you want the mic, you don't want to slam the mic up to your mouth like this, because this is what you're going to get. You want to generally keep the mic about 2 fingers away from your mouth. Because bear in mind, Unimas has old technology. So just, you don't want it to be here unless you know you have a pretty loud voice. Somewhere around here is okay. And as a rule of thumb, but it's not accurate in all circumstances, make sure that you can hear yourself and you can hear the echo. Make sure you can hear yourself echoing in the room whichever position you're holding the mic. And before you start, say something like, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen." Don't immediately start with your presentation. Greetings, members of the floor, accurate timekeeper, judges, honest, I don't know what you want to say. Anything will do. Just say something to waste your time and the first few seconds, and then ask for a sound test. "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the sound test. I would like to check if the mic is working." This will save you a lot of embarrassment if the mic crashes. Always ask for a sound test and make sure that if you have a loud voice, the mic is somewhere here. If you have a small voice, your mic you want to be here. Sometimes some people have small voices, you really have to just smash the mic against your mouth just to hear yourself. So always ask for a sound test if possible before you begin. All right, so that's it for pre-flight checks before you start to do your FYP proposal defense. And that's just the basics. If you would like more, hit me up in the comments below. I have not much. I have some experience in this. I can try. And all right, so I will start the timer on my phone. Give me a moment. All right. Timer. Clock. Where is the clock? Clock. Stopwatch. Okay, so target time. When you do your presentation, target time, we were told minimum roughly 8 minutes, maximum 10 minutes, and then that's it, you'll stop. So when you're presenting, aim for around 8 minutes, 8 minute 30 seconds. Because when you're practicing, that's a perfect condition. In the real world, things will go slow. In the real world, you're very likely to make mistakes. It's okay, everyone makes mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, and I get slow all the time. So whenever you practice, always time your speech to roughly around 8 minute 30 seconds in this case, because 8 minutes is the minimum. So we're just aiming to stride across the minimum. That's all. Because always add around 30 seconds to 1 minute of your time, because I presume with our slides we will not have control. We're going to have to ask the guy behind the projectors to say like, next. La 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 la. Next. La 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 la. Next. Yeah, stuff like that. All right. So, that's all for preparation. Let's take a full run. You'll start when let me test. Okay, the arrow keys work. I'll be using the arrow keys on my keyboard down there. In 3, 2, 1. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What do mud crabs and oyster mushrooms have in common? Well, they both produce chitosan, which leads me very nicely to next. Physicochemical and biological properties of chitosan extracted from mud crab shells, Scilla olivacea. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Abraham Chor Jin Ming, your presenter for today, matriculation number 73288 from the Faculty of Resource Science and Technology. I am here today for my FYP defense, and with me as my examiner is Dr. Lee Kwee Soon. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, what is chitosan? Well, in order to understand that, first of all, you have to understand that there are 3 types: alpha, beta, and gamma. Chitosan is derived from chitin. hence the name alpha, beta, gamma, chitin. Chitin in turn is found in various animal and fungi species, especially in the exoskeleton of crustacea and in the body of fungi. Ladies and gentlemen, it has a tendency to restrict fungal and microbial growth and has a tendency to stimulate human immune response. This is the diagram as illustrated by Crini in 2019 of the structural formula of chitin. Forgive me, the structural formula of chitosan. Ladies and gentlemen, why should we study chitosan? Why should we study that extracted from mud crabs? Because with this, we will allow direct comparison between the two different sources of chitosan, which are mud crab and oyster mushrooms as the fungi, and commercially available chitosan as our control throughout this experiment. Ladies and gentlemen, with these studies, with getting the physical, chemical, and biological characteristics of chitosan, we will be able to develop chitosan-based research for future development. Ladies and gentlemen, this is because chitosan is a very, very versatile chemical. It can be used in agriculture as fertilizer. It can be used as a military. It has mainly uses in the military because it can be used as an antimicrobial bandage material, and it can also be used in supplements in order to cure diseases such as allegedly cancer. Although more research has to be done into this topic, we will also be able to unlock the full potential of water-soluble chitosan through these physical, chemical, and biological properties. Why water-soluble chitosan, ladies and gentlemen? Because water-soluble chitosan, in turn, is a form of chitosan that is soluble at pH 7 in water, while normal chitosan is only soluble in acidic pH in organic solvents, which limits its usability and limits the concentration at which it can be used in a certain product. With our study of physicochemical and biological properties, we will alleviate concerns and start furthering development into water-soluble chitosan. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, what about mud crabs and oyster mushrooms? First of all, they're a good source of chitin, with both yielding 25 to 35% of chitosan per weight of exoskeleton and fungi body processed. They are cheap, common, and locally available. Mud crabs retail at roughly 30 ringgit per kilogram at a local market, while fungi retail at roughly 20 ringgit per kilogram, also at a local market. And they function as both food and chitin supply, which means they are sustainable, available from farms, and more convenient sources. Should the need for more food arise, we'll be able to allocate the chitin supply into food. And should more need for chitin increase, we will be able to allocate resources into the chitin supply. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, so first of all, forgive me, fourthly, what will we do? First of all, we will extract chitosan from fungi and mud crabs. We will then determine the degree of the acylation, the yield and ash content, the purity of chitosan with TLC, colorimetric estimation of glucosamine units, antimicrobial properties, antioxidant properties, and carry out statistical analysis. Next. Ashoo! Ladies and gentlemen, bless you, my roommate, bless you. Part 1, extracting chitosan. First of all, we will dry and grind both the fungi and the mud crabs. The mud crab shells will be demineralized with sulfuric acid and rinsed with sodium hydroxide and filtered out before drying. Ladies and gentlemen, the fungi will be mixed with sodium hydroxide, heated and mixed with acetate, sodium hydroxide, and precipitated with ethanol before drying. Next. So we will now determine the yield and ash content. This is important because the yield will tell us how efficient our processing is. Our processing from raw material all the way to chitosan. And the ash content will be able to tell us how pure the chitosan is, because ash content plays a part in determining the purity of chitosan extracted. Chitosan yield is calculated as weight of chitosan over weight of mud crab shells or fungi multiplied by 100. Chitosan ash content is determined using the formula of remnant after firing multiplied by the original mass multiplied by 100. Next! Degree of deacetylation is determined using the Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, because degree of deacetylation has been proven to yield an increase in antimicrobial and antifungal properties when observed in chitosan. Ladies and gentlemen, the calculations for absorbance once the FTIR has been completed will be as follows. As you can see here, the degree of deacetylation will be calculated as 100 minus the absorbance at 1655 centimeters of wavelength over the absorbance of at 3450 centimeters of wavelength and multiplied by 100 over 1.33, because this is the ratio of fully anacylated chitosan to fully deacylated chitosan. Next! Ladies and gentlemen, part 4 will be determining purity with thin layer chromatography. The chitosan will be spotted on a TLC plate with N-propanol 30%, ammonia and water solvent system, and an anhydrous spray before baking. The control will be a plate spotted with only MEOH, which is methanol. Ladies and gentlemen, the fifth part is colorimetric estimation of glucosamine using a spectrometer at 520 nanometers to identify different concentrations of glucosamine. Next! Ladies and gentlemen, antimicrobial properties will be tested using E. coli as a gram-negative and Staph aureus as a gram-positive sample using both pore plating and agar well diffusion. Next! Antioxidant properties will be tested using the free radical scavenging assay, and because a higher percentage of scavenging of DPPH means a higher percentage of free radical scavenging activity, which in turn indicates higher antioxidant activity. Next! Ladies and gentlemen, statistical analysis will be carried out in order to prevent error and record our data more accurately. Experiment will be triplicated and these tests will be carried out. Next! Ladies and gentlemen, through all this, we'll be able to allow the continued development of water-soluble chitosan, allow the industry to develop more advanced chitosan polymers for use in more flexible applications, and assist the international research community by providing our answers to the physical, chemical, and biological properties of chitosan from 2 different sources. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Are there any questions? So if there are any questions, please leave them down below in the chat box. If you're watching on PC, this is roughly, it should be on your right. If you're watching on the phone, it should be down below. Leave your questions. I'm open. And also, I took nine, that's mirrored, isn't it? Well, I took 9 minutes and 35 seconds. 9 minutes and 35 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. You will notice that I was actually rushing at the end because I messed up. I messed up at this section. Wait. Let me find it for you. I messed up at this section. Why study chitosan? I took too long and I goreng too much. This is not good. Don't do this. I forgot that you're not supposed to goreng, because the more that you goreng, more thing you say, more wrong liao lo. Like that lah. More thing you say, more wrong liao. Difficult na like that. Okay lah, can lah. Because it's 9 minutes 35, I noticed that the time is getting short already. So actually, I had to skip a lot of the materials and methods. That is not good, ladies and gentlemen. That is not something you should do. This is why we do practice runs, so that you realize the bits that you get stuck on. And also, if you have a watch that has a stopwatch function, if you have a watch that has a stopwatch function, you set it to time up so that it will tell you like you're at 8 minutes, you're at 9 minutes, or if you want, you can set a 10-minute timer. Okay, so there's a question in the chat. Alright, so generally, what are some aseptic techniques that you implement in your FYP? So, first of all, in terms of aseptic techniques, for example, when we go to the materials and methods section, when we extract chitosan, we will make sure that clean hands are in clean gloves, and clean gloves do not touch dirty objects. For example, when we dry and grind the shells, we put on gloves and we make sure that the shells are cleaned up while wearing the gloves. Because when you're handling these shells, they have these bits of uneaten meat, for example, on them that may be a contaminant to your research. So you have to take off these meat bits while wearing the first set of gloves. Now, once you've completed the cleaning process for the shells, you want to go on to drying and grinding them, you switch to another pair of gloves. These are the relatively cleaner gloves, and they will be able to keep your sample from being contaminated because you've removed the meat and you're drying and grinding the shells already. So I hope that answers your question, Adeline, because this will be on a roughly 30-second delay. I will read your question 30 seconds from when you send it, and you will receive the answer roughly 30 seconds from when I said it here in my room. So the total time delay for a question like this, for example, will be around about 1 minute, 60 seconds or more. So I hope that answers your question. And then now I will be actually waiting for your reply because I don't know. Have you Googled it? Have you Googled aseptic techniques? Because I sure didn't. I don't know. Yeah. Does anyone do the... All right, I see there are 4 viewers. Do you all have any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Because I am very happy to say that this is just the first round. This is just the first round. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is just the first round. Meow, meow. So, seeing as there are no questions, is back to the start. So, I'll get some hydration. And, yeah, give me a moment. I will sip. Thank you so much, Adeline. Thank you so much. So, that's just the first part, the first run. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Adeline. That is... Thank you. All right, so back to the start. I can smell the satay store, cooking satay, and I'm hungry. Oh, all right. So that's the basics. Try to find the points in terms of molecular too. Ah, yeah, good point, good point. Molecular. You mean molecular biology, right? Contaminants, is it? Is that what you mean? Contaminants? Because contaminants is like, as contaminants is related to aseptic technique also, right? Because when you have the contaminants, then you have the different kind of, what do you call it? I don't know what you call it lah. I don't know actually, because I only remember aseptic technique from like the PPU time. Okay lah, can lah. Is a reasonable. Is a, I think, molecular, because molecular, difficult leh. If you ask me in terms of molecular, I cannot answer lor. I'll have to say that I do not have the answer to your question, unfortunately. That is a topic for my future research. I do apologize for being unable to provide the answer. Yeah, that's it. Sorry about that. I'm confused. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Sometimes you have to know when to stop, because my lecturer did say, like, if you goreng too much, then they will keep on asking, because if they sense that you are doing the goreng, they will keep on asking you, and then you may just dig yourself into a hole that you can't get out of. So if you do get a question that you cannot answer, just say that you cannot answer, and then apologize, I guess. Something like that. Oh, it smells good. I want food, but it's late at night. Oh, if only you could smell this. Oh, that's good. All right. So, satay. Oh, man, I need some of that. Okay. Back to the studio. This is the second run. Another issue that I noticed when I'm doing this is because what you will see is actually something like this. Because right now I am standing in front of my computer and my slides are over here. You can't see them on the camera, but they are over here. They are standing, whatever slides do, on my second monitor right here that I built out of scratch. It's Laptop Alive project. If you want, you can check it out on the rest of my channel. There's a Laptop Alive short series that I created in order to help other people build their own monitors and such. So this is a monitor that I built from scratch. And this is, what do you call it? Is an old laptop that's got a control board in it. All right, that's enough stories. Let's get on back. Round 2. So, because mistakes from the last round, we'll try to correct them. So, again, with the mistakes from the last round, this slide I majorly messed up. This configuration is Kaito-san. This configuration is not chitin. And also, there are 3 different types: alpha, beta, gamma, chitin. You know chitin. You know chitin, right? In the mud crab shells, there is chitin. It's related to the keratin in our nails, but it's even harder. So, from this chitin, we can extract Kaito-san. But, thing is, I have to confirm on this slide the information whether this is referring to chitin or Kaito-san, the alpha, beta, gamma. Alright, that's the first mistake. And then, yeah, I got carried away at the start, and then I goreng too much on this slide. I will try not to goreng on this slide anymore, and I will try to stick to the time because 9 minute 32 is pushing it. This is perfect condition. This is me in my room. There's nobody in front of me pulling a face or something trying to distract me. And there's no Dr. Lee Kwee Soon sitting in front of me and going to ask me questions later. So, this is perfect condition. 9 minutes 32 seconds. That's about 30 seconds, 28 seconds of extra time. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with that. I'll try to aim for 9 minutes this time. Maybe just under 9 minutes, 8 minutes 50, something like that. And then the next thing that I realized that I made a mistake on is the mud crabs and oyster mushroom slide. It's because function as both food and chitin supply, I fumbled on this topic. And I almost died when I was trying to talk about function as both food and chitin supply. So yeah, it is a challenge. It is a challenge. The front part I fumble a lot and ends up with me compromising the back part because you realize that the further I get, when I get to antioxidant properties, I just skip a lot. And statistical analysis, I also skip the one-way ANOVA and everything. And my biggest weakness is that I need these slides here because I'm actually reading off the slides. I have not memorized the script. I have not memorized this yet. This is not good. Preferably, you must be able to memorize because when you do a presentation, it'll be like this. The board, the whiteboard where they project your slides, it'll be roughly behind you. And then it depends because my friends say that if you are in one of the halls, I can't remember which one. If you're in one of the halls, it is very, very small because the projector has an issue. So make sure that your font is big because otherwise it will look like this on a 144p screen. For the full 144p experience, you might try turning down your quality right about now. Because that's what your slides will look like from a distance. Yeah. I have to make sure that the font size is bigger as well on these slides. I'm quite happy with the design and the photos already because I don't want to give myself any more trouble, and I don't want to give the lecturers any ammunition to knock me with because I'm scared that if I put the what do you call it, like the mind map and everything, I might get called to explain it. I mean, this, depending on your lecturer, is different. Because I have friends who said that make sure that your slide has the mind map, has the flow chart and everything. My lecturer told me no flow chart. Just keep things simple. One photo, two photos, and the words on one side. So it depends. I'm quite sure that other lecturers have told different things. I cannot for myself guarantee that they are 100% correct. I cannot guarantee that I am 100% correct. I make mistakes, I'm human. This video should come with a disclaimer on the bottom. Yeah, that this information might not be 100% correct. Yeah. And then the last, this is already the thank you so much slide. And what I have to bear in mind is, I have a reference slide. You did not see this on the first run. I totally forgot about this. This should not be the last slide. This should be second to last slide. And I'll go through it like, ladies and gentlemen, these are my references, and I'll thank you so much. Are there any questions? Yeah, that's a plate of chili crab. So yeah, those are a few changes I have to make to the slide. This must be the really last slide. And this should be second to last. Alright. Okay. That's all the revisions that I have to make. Okay. I have to go soon. One more run. Ladies and gentlemen, what do mud crabs and oyster mushrooms have in common? They both generate chitosan. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Abraham Georgian Ming, matriculation number 73288, and I'm here to present my proposal defense for physical, chemical, and biological properties of chitosan extracted from mud crab shells, Scylla olivacea. Ladies and gentlemen, next! What is chitosan? This is structural formula of chitosan, and there are three different types: alpha, beta, gamma, chitin. They are found in various animal and fungi species, especially in the exoskeleton of crustacea, because it is derived from chitin, which is a hard material related to the keratin in your fingernails. It has a tendency to restrict fungal and microbial growth and to stimulate immune response. Ladies and gentlemen, next! Why study chitosan? First of all, we will allow direct comparison between different sources of chitosan. This is why we have both fungi and crustacea in the same experiment, because we will also be able to develop chitosan-based research for future development and unlock the full potential of water-soluble chitosan. Water-soluble chitosan is an important bit of research because it enables chitosan to be used in neutral conditions where normal water-insoluble chitosan is only used in smaller concentrations due to its higher more acid pH required for solvency. Ladies and gentlemen, why mud crabs and oyster mushrooms? First of all, they're a good source of chitin. Mud crabs are cheap, common, and locally available. Same with the fungi. Mud crabs retail at roughly 30 ringgit per kilogram at a local market, while fungi retail for 20 ringgit thereabouts per kilogram. They function as both food and chitin supply because this ensures that should the demand for food increase, they will be available. Should the demand for chitin increase, they will be available. They are not one-trick ponies, ladies and gentlemen. So, what will we do in this experiment? In my FYP proposal. First of all, we will extract chitosan from fungi and mud crabs. Secondly, we will determine yield and ash content. Thirdly, we will determine degree of the acylation. We will also determine the purity of chitosan with TLC. We will determine colorimetric estimation of glucosamine units of the extracted chitosan. We will determine antimicrobial and antioxidant properties, and we will also conduct statistical analysis. Next! Part 1. Extracting chitosan. Chitosan manifests itself as a white powder once fully extracted. First of all, we will dry and grind both mud crabs and fungi. We will demineralize the mud crabs with sulfuric acid, rinse them with sodium hydroxide, and filter out before drying. The fungi, on the other hand, will be mixed with sodium hydroxide and heated before being mixed with acetate, sodium hydroxide, and precipitated with ethanol before drying. Next, determining yield and ash content will be carried out using a furnace, as you can see. The furnace will be fired at 550 degrees Celsius to enable us to determine ash content, which is important for indicating purity of chitosan. The ash content, a higher ash content is indicator of higher purity, and a ash content will be calculated using the formulas that you see on screen. The yield will be important for determining the efficiency of our process for extracting chitosan. Ladies and gentlemen, determining degree of the acylation will be used with the Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, or the FTIR machine. The calculations will be carried out as follows, with the equation taking the absorbance of at 1655 centimeter of wavelength and 3450 centimeters of wavelength, 1 first over the second, multiplied by the ratio for fully anecylated chitosan to fully deacylated chitosan. Ladies and gentlemen, part 4 is determining the purity with TLC, because thin layer chromatography allows easy visualization of the different components of chitosan. First of all, chitosan and methanol will be mixed together and spotted on a TLC plate. There will be a N-propanol 30%, ammonia and water solvent system, and once the TLC is complete, the plate will be sprayed with ninhydrin before baking. A control will be a plate spotted with only methanol. Ladies and gentlemen, the fifth part is colorimetric estimation of glucosamine using a spectrometer. This uses difference in color at 520 nanometer wavelength to identify different concentrations of glucosamine. After that will be antimicrobial properties. This is a test for bacterial growth inhibition. We'll use E. coli as a gram-negative sample and Staphylococcus aureus as a gram-positive example. Pore plating and agar well diffusion will be used so that both techniques will be able to average each other out. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have the seventh part, antioxidant properties, with the free radical scavenging assay using 2,2-diphenyl 1-picrihydrazole. Ladies and gentlemen, after applying DPPH, we will measure the absorbance at 570 nanometers of wavelength. This is because a higher percentage of scavenging of the DPPH indicates higher free radical scavenging ability, which in turn indicates higher antioxidant ability. And the percentage of scavenging of DPPH is calculated according to the formula, which is 1 minus the absorbance of the sample over the absorbance of the control, which is just DPPH as a blank, multiplied by 1 minus that answer, and multiplied by 100. Ladies and gentlemen, the final part will be statistical analysis. This prevents error and helps us to record data in an accurate manner. We will triplicate all the experiments and calculate mean standard deviation for all data groups, carry out a one-way ANOVA test and a Duncan test to calculate significant difference of the data groups to make sure that we do not mess up. Ladies and gentlemen, what do we get from all this research? So, first of all, we allow the continued development of water-soluble chitosan, which, as I mentioned before, is an important asset and needs more development. We also allow the industry to develop more advanced chitosan polymers for use in more flexible applications, because physical-chemical properties will help in determining properties of the future polymers that are made. We'll also be able to assist the international research community by providing our results from 2 different sources, namely mud crabs and fungi. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Do you have any questions? Alright, so I'm a little bit unhappy with this run as well. If you noticed, I choked a lot. And I have many errors. many errors. Because I spoke too much. I don't like that. I spoke too much. I said too many things that may not be true. And I do not like that. So yeah. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what to do. This is the end of the stream. I have other things to do. Do you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Please don't hesitate to pop them in the chat box. Thank you so much, my dear viewers. Yeah. I'm not happy with this run, because if you go watch it back, alright, post-run analysis, then I'll have to stop. I need to go and do a quiz. post-run analysis is because during the materials and methods, I said a lot of just random stuff that just popped off the top of my head. You should not do that. Never do that. Alright, so you should never do that, ladies and gentlemen. Never say things that you don't know anything about. Yes, as I said, you will dig yourself into a hole that you may not be able to escape from. I made a mistake, and I will have to correct that soon. There may be another run after this, but it depends on the internet, really. I have to go and do a quiz now, but I'll just finish up here. Yield and ash content needs revision on the slides, and there are so many things that need fixing, and I'm just not happy with this run because I said too many, I goreng too many things, you know. The timing is good. 8 minutes 40 seconds is good. I'm happy with the timing right now. It took me about 3 minutes to cover the first part before you get to materials and methods. It took me about 3 or 4 minutes to get to this point. And total about 8 minutes. That means I spent nearly half the time for materials and methods. That's good. That's fine. I have a lot of materials and methods. They're all messy. I want to say as little about them as possible. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I guess. Both runs have their pros and cons. The first run was formal, professional. Second run had a lot of goreng. I don't recommend goreng. I honestly do not recommend goreng. Yeah. So that's it, I guess. Because the thing about goreng, the thing about goreng is that it's very dangerous. You don't want to goreng. You do not want to goreng. And the last... Is there anything I can improve apart from the slides? I have to think because it's late at night. I want to eat, but I'm too lazy to go down from my dorm and buy the food. I think I'll cook some instant noodles or something. I'm hungry. Hello, Awang. What's up? Hello. There's a sudden influx of viewers, but you know what? I have to go now actually because I did say that I will do a quiz at 8. I am a punctual man, and I will not stand for this kind of lateness. All right. So, if you want, this will be available on replay. I did 2 runs today. I would say maybe 50% satisfied with them. These 2 runs, they are not very good, but they are okay. They are meh. Yeah, these 2 runs are not something that you should take as inspiration. But yeah, maybe if you want to. If you want to, it's fine. I don't mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I'm tired now. That's it. I'm done. All right, on that bombshell, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to the stream. If you like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you when I see you. See you next time. Good night. Alright, Adeline, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm still on the mic. Alright, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of the stream. It is like the end music, you know. Paper Idol Castles. Good night.